The first light of dawn stretched gently across the skyline of a forgotten edge of Brookvale, Utah, where cracked sidewalks and sagging rooftops marked a neighborhood most people didn't look twice at. It was 6:30 a.m. when 14-year-old Malik Carter opened his eyes, the sound of his mother's coughing piercing the morning quiet like a sorrowful hymn. A breeze, sweet with the scent of dew and distant honeysuckle, drifted in through a broken window. Outside, the world glowed in summer gold. But inside the dim, one-bedroom home Malik shared with his mother, the air smelled of rust, motor oil, and worry. Malik rolled off the floor mattress, his back sore from sleeping without cushioning and from a long day working two under-the-table jobs, one at a rundown gas station and the other at a greasy auto repair garage. His spine creaked like the floorboards beneath his feet. His hands, calloused and rough, reached for a crumpled T-shirt that barely passed as clean. Every movement was weighed with fatigue. Their electricity had cut out sometime during the night again, and the fridge gave off a half-hearted hum, like it too had given up. In the corner of the living room, curled under a faded blanket on a sunken sofa, his mother, Denise Carter, coughed violently. Her pale, thin frame convulsed with the effort. Years of untreated respiratory illness had turned once strong lungs into fragile paper. She had once been full of laughter, a barista who sang while brewing coffee and danced while folding laundry. Now, she worked part-time at a diner downtown, struggling to stay on her feet during long shifts, but never missing one because she knew her son needed her to keep going. Malik tiptoed past her and grabbed the last bit of cereal, pouring it into a chipped bowl, usually used for potato chips. There was barely enough milk left to wet the flakes, so he drank straight from the carton, savoring even the smallest gulp. He hadn't seen the inside of a classroom in 3 years, not since the accident that took his father, Andre Carter, away on a snowy highway and left their family broken and drifting. Since that day, Malik had stepped up. There was no time to mourn. There was no space for grief. Only survival. As he slipped on his frayed sneakers, one with a broken sole, the other with a lace held together by twine, heard the faint whisper of birds beyond the crumbling walls. He opened the door and stepped into the morning sunlight. For a moment, it felt like the world exhaled. This summer morning was different. He could feel it in the way the breeze brushed his skin like a promise. Slinging a battered backpack over one shoulder, he began the long walk to the garage. His mind wandered as he walked numbers he used to love solving in math class, the faces of kids he once called friends, and the ache that wasn't just from hunger, but from longing for more. Then, at the corner of Jefferson and Willow, something caught his eye, a flyer stuck to a brick wall, flapping in the wind. The edges were curled from heat, the ink slightly faded. He walked over and read it. Help wanted. Gear porter for Angels Gate Summit Tour. $500 per day. High risk. Apply in person. $500. In one day. That was 2 months of groceries. That was antibiotics. That was the light bill, the inhaler refill. That was a miracle. He didn't even blink at the word risk. He had lived with risk every day since he was 11. With trembling fingers, he pulled the flyer from the wall, folded it neatly, and stared up at the sky streaked with early sunlight. Something inside him stirred a fire he had tried to keep quiet for years. This wasn't just another day. This was the day everything could begin to change. By 8:30 a.m., Malik stood in front of the Brookvale Wilderness Adventures office on the edge of the national park. The rustic wooden building smelled of pine, coffee, and sunscreen. Helmets hung on hooks, trail maps were displayed proudly, and behind the counter stood a tall man with weathered skin and eyes like burnt steel. "You here for the porter job?" the man asked, voice rough like gravel. "Yes, sir," Malik replied, standing tall. The man eyed him from head to toe. "You ever hike Angel's Gate?" "No, sir, but I'm strong and I don't quit." "I'm Clay Warren," the man said, extending a firm hand. "Former ranger. I lead the Summit Elite Tours. No room for weakness on that ridge. You fall, no one comes back for you." He handed Malik a waiver. It read, in bold, "Risk of death due to terrain." Malik thought of his mother's shallow breathing. He signed. Clay gave him a hiking kit, boots too big, gloves that scratched, a helmet with someone else's name etched into the back, and 2 massive duffel bags. You meet the group at 10:30. We leave at 11. No talking unless spoken to. You carry everything. You don't complain. You don't fall. Malik nodded. He changed behind a privacy screen. The boots dug into his heels. The straps of the backpack cut his shoulders. But when he caught his reflection in a scratched mirror, he didn't see a poor kid. He saw someone climbing toward something bigger. By 10 o'clock, the parking lot had filled with sleek SUVs and blacked-out Jeeps. Out stepped the kind of people Malik had only seen in magazines' tech tycoons, fitness influencers, a TV chef with neon sunglasses. Cameras flashed. Assistants hustled. Laughter echoed across the pavement. And then she arrived. From a crimson Land Rover stepped a woman in black tactical shorts, a designer vest, trail boots gleaming like trophies. Her name was Sienna Blake, Olympic gold medalist, billionaire, founder of a global wellness empire. Her platinum ponytail snapped in the breeze as she scanned the cliffs like they were her enemies. For a moment, her eyes met Malik's. Cool blue locked onto warm brown. She gave a polite nod and looked away. He didn't care about fame. He cared about finishing the climb and getting paid. Clay clapped his hands. 11 o'clock. Final call. Get your gear ready. This isn't a photo shoot, it's a climb. Stay close, stay alive. Malik secured the bags. Sweat trickled down his back. The group began the slow, treacherous hike up Angel's Gate. The first stretch was deceiving wide paths, soft incline, chirping birds. The clients took selfies. Sienna's film crew followed her every step. But Malik kept his head down, carrying gear for 6 people. As the trail narrowed, the light-hearted chatter died. The canyon opened up around them, the cliffs like blood-red cathedrals stretching toward the sky. The wind grew stronger. Chains bolted into the rock marked where the real danger began. Sienna led the group with fearless grace. Her footing was perfect, her breath even. Malik, far behind, studied her not because she was beautiful, but because she moved like she had something to prove. She did. 2 months earlier, Sienna had nearly died in a skiing accident. Her recovery had been hidden from the media. She came here not for press, but to conquer fear. Malik saw it. He recognized the pain in her posture, the unspoken war behind her strength, because he lived with it too. When the group reached the Angel's spinning a 2-foot-wide ledge with a 1,000-foot drop, reality set in. One slip, one misstep, that's all it took. And that's exactly what happened. Sienna's boot struck a loose stone. Her body twisted. The wind howled. She slipped, clinging to a chain with one hand, dangling over death. No one noticed, except Malik. He dropped the bags. He ran. "Hold on," he shouted. Sienna's eyes, once calm and commanding, were now wide and filled with terror. She said nothing, just clung to the cliff, her breath coming in gasps. Malik threw himself down, stretched out his body, and caught her wrist. "I got you," he grunted, anchoring his feet, pulling with all he had. His arm screamed. Gravel bit his skin. With a final heave, she tumbled on his solid ground and collapsed into him, sobbing. "You saved me," she whispered. The canyon fell silent. The cameras had missed it, but Malik had not. As the others arrived, the story unfolded in fragments. Clay removed his cap. "Never seen anyone pull someone back on this trail," he murmured. "You've got mountain blood, kid." Sienna, still trembling, turned to Malik. "Who are you?" "Malik Carter." "You're more than a porter," she said. "You're a miracle." By the time the group returned to base, every tourist had handed Malik their bags without protest. Every influencer deleted their footage in shame. And Sienna never left his side. The next morning, Brookvale woke to the roar of a helicopter and a caravan of Red Range Rovers. The Carter neighborhood froze. From a chopper stepped Sienna Blake in a white blazer. She crossed the yard, heels echoing like thunder, and handed Malik a folder. "This," she said, "is everything. Medical treatment for his mother. Paid in full. A new house. Fully furnished. A scholarship. Private school. Every tool for the future. $50,000. Not a gift, an investment. A job offer. And the keys to a red Range Rover, just like hers. Malik, stunned, whispered, "I didn't do it for this." "I know," she said. "That's why it's yours." The neighborhood erupted. Cheers rang out. Old neighbors cried. Children screamed his name like a legend. That night, as the sun dipped behind the cliffs and stars dusted the sky, Malik stood barefoot in his new backyard. Behind him, lights glowed from the windows of a home filled with laughter, health, and hope. He looked up at the mountain, now far away, but it had given him everything, not because he climbed it, but because he carried someone else when it mattered most. And in that moment, Malik Carter, a boy, once invisible, became unforgettable.